Okay, so we're on to page 3. So number 5. So number 5, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 equations, and we have to match them with A, B, C, and D. Which equation goes to which graph? Okay, so what we need to do is look at the important parts of pieces of information on each equation. So if I notice here, this is in vertex form, right? So that means the vertex, x is a liar, so the x coordinate is 6. And if there's no number out here, that means the y coordinate is 0. So which one of these has a vertex at 6, 0? Okay, this one does not. That's an x-intercept at negative 6, 0, but that's not the vertex. Okay, that's also an x-intercept at 6, 0, but that's not the vertex. Remember, the vertex is that point in the middle. This one, the vertex is right at 6, 0, so then the first one is C. Okay, now this is not vertex form, so I can't really tell what the vertex is, but what I do know is that it's negative, so it has to go down. Do any of these go down? Only one, so the first one must be D. The other way to confirm that is look at these two parentheses or factors. This is where you can find your x-intercepts. The first one, that's positive 2. The first x-intercept is, sorry, that's negative 2, it must be positive 2. The second x-intercept, if that's positive 6, it must be negative 6. I look at the same graph, negative 6, positive 2 for my x-intercept, so that confirms that we're on the right one. Okay, so now here, this is positive, the first number, so it has to be going up. So we've already canceled out D, C, and D, okay? And it says it's up, but they both go up. So that doesn't really help us decide which one. So let's go to the x-intercepts. So it looks like we have that same x minus 2 and x plus 6, so the x-intercepts are the x is positive 2, and then negative 6. So which one of those has those x-intercepts? This one has 6 and 0. This one has 6 and negative 2, so it has to be A. Okay, and then obviously by elimination, we know this one is B, but why is it B? Okay, well again, this is not vertex form, so you guys might think that. If there's no squared here, like there is here, it's not vertex form. But what I do know, this is like that form where we would use GCF to get here. Okay, I do know that looking here, the first x-intercept is 0. Okay, because we have an x on the outside of the parenthesis, and then we have x minus 6, so the second intercept should be 6. So 0 and 6, and so that's how we know. Okay, okay, number 6, okay, we want to find out the following information, which is the vertex and the x-intercepts. Okay, so first thing is we have 5x minus 20. Okay, well that is vertex form. But remember, we just don't have the parentheses here because we have x squared, okay, and this number doesn't have x, so that's vertex form. So then, remember, no parentheses, the first number is 0, and then the second number tells us the y coordinate. Okay, but then what are the x-intercepts? That's the question, right? So to find x-intercepts, we're going to have to do a little math. So we set our equation equal to 0, and then what we want to do is move this number to the right, okay, because we have an A and a C, okay? In other words, this has no x, so we're going to move it over here. So now 5x squared. If this had x, then we could do GCF, all right, but we can't. So now equals 20. All right, then we would divide by 5. Okay, we get x squared equals 4. And then we square root, okay? And remember, when we square root, we get both plus and minus 2. So that means our x-intercepts are positive 2 and negative 2. So there's our x-intercepts. So at 2, and we'll say and negative 2, okay? Now let's just say that you get the same problem, but this says plus 20, right? So plus 20. So when I move it now, I have negative 20 here. So I'm going to go ahead and divide 5 like I did before. And x squared equals negative 4 this time. And I'll square root just like I did before. There's a problem. If I square root a negative number, it's just not possible. There is no square root to a negative from a number. So in this case, there is no x-intercept. So I'd say none, or 0, or there's no solution, no answers, right? So if you get a negative number in the square root, you're done, okay? So you can really be thinking, as soon as you see a plus here, you already know it's none, okay? Now this one over here, if you notice we have 1, 2, 3 terms. So we have an A term, B term, and a C term. So that means I could do the box to find the x-intercepts. Okay, I can't find the vertex just by looking at the equation. Okay, this is not vertex form. So what I'm going to do is let's try the box. But in order to do the box, I can't have a negative in front. So let's get rid of the negative by first set it equal to 0. Okay, I'm going to divide by 2 because that will make this easier to work with. It'll make it smaller. They're all, if you look at, I can do GCF of all the numbers, but I need to get rid of the negative, so I divide by negative 2. Okay, so now negative 2, those cancel out, so now I just have x squared. Remember, if you divide out negative 2, that needs to go to the front. Okay, so now negative 12 divided by negative 2 is plus 6, x. Negative 10 divided by negative 2 is plus 5. Okay, so now when I do the box to find the x-intercepts, I just use that part of the equation, not the 2 or not the 0. So now x squared and 5, two numbers that will multiply to 5 but then add up to 6, that'd be 5x and 1x. Remember, if that's x squared, it's just x, and x times 5 gives me 5x. X times 1 gives me 1x. So then I have x plus 5 from here, and x plus 1 from there. And remember that x-intercepts are the opposite of those numbers. So then we'll have x is at negative 5, and we'll have x is negative 1. Okay, that gives us the x-intercepts. But we're still stuck finding what's the vertex. Well, just like I said before, if I have negative 1 here, oops, sorry, negative 1 is actually over here, and negative 5 here, these are the x-intercepts on my graph. I know that the vertex is right in the middle. So what's the middle of negative 5 and negative 1? Will be negative 3. So then the x value, or x coordinate of the vertex is negative 3. But in order to find the y coordinate, we're going to have to go back to the equation and plug it in. So now, erase this. I'm going to plug in the negative 3 into this equation. So negative 2 times negative 3 squared minus 12x times negative 3 minus 10. Okay, so remember PEMDAS, first do exponents. Negative 3 squared is 9. Okay, then I can multiply here. Negative 12 times negative 3, well that's positive 3, so 36. Then minus 10. Okay, negative 2 times 9, negative 18. Plus 36, minus 10. Okay, now negative 18 plus 36 is positive 18. Then minus 10, that's 8. So there's our y coordinate for the vertex. So again, to reiterate what we did here, first I took the GCF of the equation to make it simpler to work with. So then all I have to do is do the box of this part, find the box, or use the box to find the x-intercepts, as that's what we were doing. So that's how we find negative 5 and negative 1. Okay? And then I said, well, in the middle of negative 5 and negative 1 is negative 3. So that's the x-coordinate of the vertex. But I still had to find the y. So I plugged the negative 3 back into this equation here. And now, when you get to this point, you could do this all by hand if you want, or you could just take this and plug it into the calculator, okay? And another thought, guys, remember how to find the table? You just plug in the equation and find the table, and then you could find the x-intercepts in the table. That's another way to find these x-intercepts for both of these. So that's one way to do it as well. Use the calculator for your tools, right? Okay, so now I plugged it in and I got 8, and that's my vertex, okay? Okay, a couple more problems here. Now, it says find the vertex using the zero product property. When you hear zero product property, that means you're either going to use GCF or you're going to use the box. Okay? So it means one or the other. So in this case, we have 1, 2, 3 A, B, C terms. So that means we're going to use the box. Some of you guys, well, can't we just do the quadratic formula? Well, that's not what we're asking for. We're asking to do the box in this case. Okay? So we're going to use the box. So we're going to put x squared here. Then the last term is negative 16. Okay, and remember we multiply these two numbers together. So negative 16 x squared. What two numbers, if I multiply them, will give me negative 16, but then they'll add up to positive 6. Okay, well I know that 1 times 16, 2 times 8, 4 times 4, those all give me 16, but which one will give me 8? 1 plus 16 or 16 minus 1, that's not 6. Okay, 2 plus 8 is 10. That doesn't work, but 8 minus 2, 8 minus 2, that's 6. So I can use those two. Let me just double check with 4 and 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. 4 minus 4 is 0, so that wouldn't work. Okay, so it has to be 2 and 8. All right, so remember it has to be positive 6, right? So that means your bigger number has to be positive, and the other one is negative. So 8x and negative 2x. And remember, this is the easy one, or if it's x squared, it's just x and x. X times negative 2 gives us negative 2x. X times 8 is the other. Okay, so now we have x plus 8, x minus 2. The first solution is negative 8. Second solution is positive 2. Because remember, opposite sign, plus 8, negative 8. Minus 2, positive 2. So now, I want to know the vertex. So remember, it's in the middle of those 2 points. So if I draw a line, just to see it visually, I have negative 8 over here, and positive 2 here. What's the middle of that? Well, you might have to count if you're not really sure. So let's see, let's go 1, 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, I'm actually going to spread this out, and then negative 3, and then negative 4, okay, negative 5, negative 6, keep on going, negative 7, and negative 8. Okay, so I have my first x-intercept there, and the other at 2, negative 8 and 2, so I gotta find the middle of this. So it looks like the middle is somewhere about here. So let's double check though. From that point, from negative 3, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the right, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the left. So that is the middle. So negative 3 is our middle. So that is remember the x value for the vertex, but not the y coordinate. So for our vertex, we have negative 3 as the x value, and to find the y value, we have to plug it in. So use your equation, y equals x squared plus 6x minus 16, and I'm just going to plug in that negative 3 into x right there and there. So negative 3, remember put parentheses, squared plus 6x, or 6 times negative 3, minus 16. And remember at this point you could just type that into the calculator and punch it in and figure out what the y value is. But I'm going to go ahead and do it by hand. So negative 3 squared is 9. 6 times negative 3 is minus 18, then minus 16. 9 minus 18, well that's negative 9. Then subtract 16, well these are both negatives, so we add the negatives. 9 plus 16, that's going to be 25, but they're both negatives, so they stay negative. So our vertex is negative 3, negative 25. Okay? That's it. Okay, last one. Hopefully my battery doesn't die. Okay, first the question is this point a solution to this equation? So really what that means is if I plug in the x value of negative 4 into this equation like we've been plugging in all the time, will I get 85 for the y? That's really what it's asking. So all you gotta do is just plug in the x value. If 85 comes out, then you know you're right. So, or that you know that that is actually a solution. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite the equation. So I'm going to plug in the -4 for x here and here. So squared minus 7 times the x there, so -4 again, and then plus 5. And then just go ahead and plug that in the calculator, and then you'll know if it's a solution or not. Or just do it by hand. So first the exponents, -4 squared, well that's 16. Okay, the -7 times -4 is positive 28, plus 5. Then 3 times 16 is 48. It's getting bigger, it's getting closer to 85, plus 28, plus 5. Then 48 plus 28, well that's 60 plus 16, so that's 76, plus 5. Let me just double check that. Let's see, 48 plus 28, 60 plus 16, yep, 76, plus 5 equals 81. Uh-oh, it's supposed to be 85. So what that means is that it is not. So that -4, 85 is not a solution. And that's all that means. Now if I plugged it in and I actually got 85, then yes, it is a solution, but it's not.